Hello, it's Jenny from Ginger Ninja Crafts. How are you? I hope you're doing well. I am here with one video that serves two purposes. It is my one sketch challenge video for July, and it is also sort of the first proper make for my Christmas in July with Ginger Ninja Crafts series. So, the one sketch challenge is hosted by lovely Lisa over at the Crafting Diva. And this is the sketch she has provided for us for July. So it's quite a nice, simple one. I'm hoping it's going to lend itself well to Christmas cards. I would love it if you would let me know in the description box below how many cards you think I get made in this video, and we'll compare notes at the end and see if anybody guessed correctly. The idea for this collab is that Lisa gives us a sketch. You can make anything you like with the sketch. So it could be, I'm obviously making Christmas cards today, but it could be a gift bag, a journal page, a scrapbook page, an ATC, anything you like, just following this outline for what your card design will look like. There is quite a gang of us who participate, so you will find Lisa and all the other participants linked below. And if you would like to join in, excuse me, if you would like to join in, then feel free to share your project and just tag Lisa in it and use the hashtag, which you'll see in the description box and in the description box. So before I start making, please hop on in the comments, let me know how many cards you think I'll be making today. And as I say, I'll check in at the end and see if anybody got it right. So, without further ado, let's get crafting. Okay, so this is the sketch, and I also have, if you can hear Ozzy chatting in the background, I also have this magazine kit, which I think it might be from 2020. It's certainly a few years old. So there's a whole load of kind of toppers and cut apart bits, and there's some papers and there's even some card blanks, although I might not use them as card blanks, I might use them as the papers. So I'm just having a little look to see what bits I like. I quite like these little snowmen. They're very cute. Hey Oz! So I've got a couple of different card bases, white squares. And I want to create the two. There's like a main square, and then there's the kind of panel behind it. So I'm cutting down some of the papers. I like this checky one. It's almost a kind of tartan sort of pattern. So now on the sketch, it almost looks like there's a couple of the corners are rounded. So I'm trying to decide if I do a matte and layer, and I decide not to do it on this one. So that star paper just doesn't really stand out. So I'm going to mount it on a bit of this sort of pinky red, and I've just cut one corner as rounded, and I'm going to, it looks just a little bit rounded on the sketch. So I've cheated already with a matte and layer, but that's okay. I'm comfortable with my decision. And then I'm just rounding that bottom corner just to kind of balance it, I think. I feel like the snowman needs a bit of snow to sit on, but white card against that star paper is not going to stand out. So I've just taken a little bit of the pink, and I'm going to pop this snowman on there. This is the point where I realise the papers are double-sided. I've had it for so long, I totally forgot that. So if you see a slight pause there when I turned that over to put the glue, I was like, oh. But anyway, I'm glad I've went with that tartany kind of paper. And then I decide, rather than having a matte and a layer, I'm just adding a little doodle around the edge. And then I need to find some kind of sentiment or something to make it Christmassy. So I have found one there. Just looking to see if there's any other options that I would like to go with. There is that one, but I think it's a bit big, but it takes me a wee minute to figure it out. And then I'm trying to think about could I add a couple of Christmas trees behind the snowman as well? And I think that might be maybe a bit too fussy. They're a bit small. The snowman looks absolutely massive. I can't remember which magazine this came from. I want to say, I think there used to be one called Crafts Beautiful that wasn't solely paper crafts, but I think this maybe came with that. But I could be wrong. Anyway, I've decided to go for the little sentiment, but again, just the white against white is doesn't really stand out, so I'm just using another little bit of that pinky red kind of card. And I'm going to use the little foam squares which came in the kit as well. It came with a little square of acetate, foam squares, a little packet of silver glitter, and then all the other bits that you've seen there. So I tend not to raise up different elements that much in cards because it does sometimes push it over into needing a large stamp, but I've got these foam squares, so I'm going to go for it. And I think actually just that little bit is not going to make enough of a difference. So now I'm just adding some little snowflakes and the sentiment, and that's the first card done. However, what else am I adding? Oh yes, there's like a little holly that I thought would just finish it off nicely. So now I'm going for the smaller card. So I think that first card base I used was like 5 inches. No, I think it's like a 6x6. This one's about 5x5. And I want to use this little, it's like a little snow globe with a snowman in it. So this one, I'm changing it from kind of squares to more sort of rectangles. And when I spotted the back of that paper, I thought that is just the perfect complement. And this card with the snow globe on it has got 4 rounded corners, so I'm just going to go in and round all the corners. And then I decide to do, oh yeah, I'm looking for a sentiment there. I think it's a bit dark, that black one. There's nothing else black on the card, but there is lots of little stars and sort of snowflakey elements around, so I'm just trying to find some that are going to complement the colours in the gold and the blue, the little touchy green. So I'm finding at those. I do find them a bit fiddly, these kind of cut apart sheets. Actually, once I've finished with all of this, what I then did was took all the different elements out of the sheet, so I've got them in a little packet, so that next time I craft with this, it's a bit easier. So I've added a little bit of ink around the 2 panels. Just helps them to stand out against the white card, but also ties them in together a wee bit. And then I'm going to pop that one on there, background. Again, I've put the panel with the sort of focal image, I'm using the foam pads and actually just put a wee bit of glue to keep them sticky for longer. And then I'm popping some stars on. Still can't quite decide if that sentiment's right, so then I decide to just stamp a Merry Christmas on. It is in black ink, but somehow it doesn't feel quite as harsh as that topper was, so. And then some more stars around. Now this one I've not got the matte layer, so I'm going to do something different to add a sort of effect of a frame around it. It's not quite, but I think it's quite nice. So there is my stars in place. And is that another star? Yep. I think I'm going away now to get my Nouveau drops. Yeah. So I do a little bit of Nouveau drops in the corners just to add a bit of an effect as if it's got a frame. So that is card number 2. And then I'm going to try it on an oblong. Now again, just like the second card, I love this little house topper. It's kind of ready to go and it's pinky, and I've got those little panels that you could easily stamp a sentiment onto. So I just need to decide if I'm going to do the card as a portrait card or landscape. So I'm going to faff about with the different elements. So there is a little touch of blue in that focal one, but I think, I'm trying to think, will the pink one be too much pink? Will the blue look like it's out of place? Which direction should it go? Should it go landscape? Should it go portraits? You can see how it takes me a while to get my Christmas cards made. What other little details could I add? Could I put little Christmas trees? Oh my goodness, so many decisions. Would some snowflakes complement? Little stars and snowflakes. Then I decide to do the inky thing again because I think that turned out quite nicely. And then I think maybe I'm going to go with a kind of matte, a red matte behind it, and then a white, and then all the toppers on top of that. So just for a slightly different look. So I'm just cutting that. It's actually a card base that I've used. It does have a crease in it, so I do try and do the trick with my bone folder, trying to sort of rubbing that little bit out. It doesn't really work on this card, but you just see such a tiny amount of it. I think I get away with it. So I'm putting that one on with the corners intact, and then I've got a white layer which I am rounding the corners and adding a little bit of inking around. And then there's an inking I've already done around the 2 panels that are going on top. So again, I am gluing the patterned one flat on, and then the focal image, I'm raising it up with some little foam pads and a little drop of glue on top. And then the little star snowdroppy bit I decided to go with a pink one, and then actually I've got a stamp that says from our home to yours or something, and I think that's kind of perfect for all the house theme that I've used. So I just pop that on, and then I'm going in with a little bit of silver just because now I've got my Nuvo drops out, I want to use them. So yeah, that is that. So these are the ones that you saw in the video, and then I also made 2 extra ones following the same design. Hello, it's Jenny from Ginger Ninja Crafts, and this video serves 2 purposes. It's the first proper video for my Christmas in July with Ginger Ninja Crafts series, and it's also the One Sketch Challenge video for July. So this is our sketch that I am gonna use in this video. This is a collaboration, the One Sketch Challenge, and it's hosted by lovely Lisa over at the Crafting Diva, and there is quite a gang of us that are working on this project. So I will link all those other ladies in the description box below, and please hop on over and check them out and see what they've been making. I wonder if other people are making Christmas projects. I'm sure some of them will be. So yeah, that is the sketch, and